Hi, I'm Greg. Welcome back to another episode of Hot Dog's Garage. We're working on our 1969 Dodge Charger. And on today's episode, it's fuel tank time. So we're doing the fuel tank. So first, lay everything out and struggle for a few hours. Or days. Let's go. Got all the bits and pieces laid out. So kind of starting at the top, we've got the gas cap, the trim ring, and the gasket that goes in between this and the body, and then this trim ring and the top side of the fender. And then the sending unit and the mounting ring and gasket, the seal for the filler tube to the trunk floor, the seal for the filler tube to the actual tank, the 2 J-bolts for the tank, and the insulation for the straps. And then, bam, the actual tank, the insulation for the top of the tank, and the straps. So, I'm missing just a few things. I'm missing the fuel line, the 3/8 fuel line to the engine, and the 1/4 inch return. And I don't have the exact size screws for this, which is supposed to be number 8 by 3/4. So I think what I need to do is, if you come back here and take a gander, it's gonna be hard to get the filler tube through that. So this fender here is original. This metal wasn't replaced, so all this is original to the car. The quarter panel was replaced from down yonder. So I think what I need to do first is cut this out. Not going to worry about the vent tube. I'm going to take that off the filler tube. So I'm going to cut this hole out, and then we're going to put the tank in, mock it up, not put this gasket in because I know that this is a pain to get into the tank. So I think we need to just set the tank in place without that gasket, without the sending unit for any damage, or cut the floor out, set the tank in, figure out how that's going to fit, and make sure that this will bolt up, this will go through the floor, this will fit, and then go into the tank. Then drop the tank, figure everything out, put the sending unit in, put the fuel lines off of it, put this gasket in, lube this gasket up, put the tank back in, put this in, then put it up, then put this gasket on, bolt this down and this down, and then that's it. All right, first start cutting this car apart. So that's the knockout we got to get rid of. So the filler tube can come down this hole here down into there. So take note the kind of the shape of it, where it's flat along this side and then kind of curved around that side. And there's a frame rail right here. So let's go down, look at the bottom. Okay, so you can see this leading edge is pretty close to the frame rail. So I think what we'll do is we'll drill here and here, and then use the jigsaw and cut up this way and this way, and probably drill a hole here and here, and then across somewhere within an inch or I don't know if that's that far away, you know. Get to this radius, and then take that piece out. Then we could kind of see, we can notch it out closer while we don't touch that frame rail. So that's what we'll do. Drill here, here, jigsaw up, drill another holes up here, 4 holes, kind of cut that out. Then we can set the tank in here, see the angle of that filler tube, and see how close we're gonna get. You know, this is aftermarket trunk floor. Obviously it's right, I don't know how it was from the factory, how close it was, but you know, I don't know if this hole is gonna make the right angle. I mean, here's the tank tab here, so it looks right, but let's cut it out and get going. we got a hole. It's pretty close. So I think I just need to file the edges a little bit, take this tape off, keep vacuuming, clean these edges up a little bit, and we'll be ready to start test fitting stuff. She's cleaned up. Now let's grab this old filler tube. Old, new. Let's take off this vent tube, line these holes up, and then just see if this even fits down through that hole and is gonna even be close. Smoky smoky, here we go. Moment of truth. I think we gotta go down. Yep, and then up. Okay, that looks promising. Oh no, it's hitting the... Okay, so the screw holes are lined up. Looks like I need more on the inside of it. Interesting. So that's the screw holes, and it's just needs to go up a little bit more. I might have to take a little more on this side. Okay. Maybe we'll get that tank in, see how that fits in, and then we'll go from there to see exactly what side of it. If we gotta go, guess we should do uniform, but let's get the seal over it and see how that fits as well. All right, well that looks good, kind of, I guess. I guess we can't go, if we gotta cut it bigger than what that seal is, I think maybe we've got other issues to address. So looks like we could go another 3/4 of an inch at least this way. Okay. All right, well, let's get the tank in and see. Let's get the tank in mocked up and see what it looks like with the tank in and see how far off we are. Just try to get it cut once. I don't want to keep shaving it and realize we did way more than we needed to, or we still got to go more. So let's set the tank in. I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to drop it, put it in and drop it, but I don't see another way. I mean, maybe there is, I'm just not seeing it. That was dropping the mitts, bloody knuckles, fight to the death type of, death sentence. And we got bad news. So it definitely, oh man, that doesn't do anything good for anybody. Okay. So as you can see, maybe the holes there line up ish, good enough, and it's not. Can I let this go again? It's not good enough. This filler tube is pressed against the bottom lip of this tank and the top of here. So ain't no way that's gonna work with the rubber piece in the tank that this has to seal to. So I think now I've got to cut. I mean, there's a little bit I didn't take off. I think I got to cut that more. Okay, so you could probably see better from this angle looking down on the fender, down into there. I think not gonna do it. We gotta get a little bit out. I think maybe this floor wasn't correct, or this isn't an AMD floor. I don't know the brand, but it was the 2-piece floor you can see, and it was probably not welded in as correctly as factory. So I don't think we need to take but a little bit of half moon out of there, drop this tank, know what to do, put it back, put the tank all together, put it back in, and then try to bolt it all together. Well, good morning. Day 2 of the fuel tank install. And it is a mess down here. It is a war zone in this garage. But I was able to get the hole cut out a little bit better last night, so I think rather than fighting the tank again and trying to fit it all up again to make sure, I'm just going to trust that I did it correctly, and we're going to clean, assemble the tank, and set it in there and try to put it together. We'll put the sending unit in, we'll put the fuel line off of the sending unit, and start actually assembling it. So I'll show you what I did last night and this mess we got going on, and we'll start assembling the tank. Okay, so I did cut a little more on that side, and I lied a second ago. I just put the tank back in, but I used the jack and jack stands to put it in place. Now let's try not to scratch everything doing this one-handed, but as you can see now, it lines up, and that was enough that I took out. So it can go all the way to the top there, and it's not interfering anywhere. So all right, let's get the tank down again and then do what I said we were gonna do earlier. Okay. Okay, so I put the seal in here for the fill tube. This is the insulation that came with the tank. You saw I just kind of cut it to size here. I don't know how that's exactly supposed to fit or how it's gonna fit with it in there, but figure that. And then for the sender unit, it's the first time I've done one of these, so bear with me. It looks like there's 2 tabs here. One on the, I'll just flip it around so you can see one there and one there. Obviously that's the pickup and the sensor for the gauge, so that's got to sit in there like that, which makes sense because those 2 tabs, I'm pretty sure this gasket goes on the inside like so, and it goes around those tabs, and then you make sure no one's inside. And do some yoga like that. And you gotta make sure those tabs that's clean. And it's seated there. And that's the top tab. Wait a second. No, it's not. Don't put it in upside down. Yeah, I can see that goes up. Okay, and then you can see once you have it set in there, that won't turn. Those tabs are both caught. Okay, and that goes in over the top. And then okay, so now we got to hit these tabs and twist it into place. Okay. I think you just got to go around. Don't swing the hammer towards the charger. I don't know how far you are supposed to go with them. I'm guessing a little farther until it stops. Oh, scratched it. I think you're supposed to use something that won't make sparks when after you put fuel in it. But this is a brand new tank, everything's brand new. There's nothing flammable in there, I don't think. Hope not. I don't know if that's... I mean, is it supposed to clip all the way into that, to there? There's a lip there and a lip there, so maybe let's try to give it a... Ouch. I think that's all I'm gonna get out of her. Without really beating on her. Well, we'll see. I mean, it ain't coming off. Alright. No, didn't come with any instructions. Let me Google that real fast and see. Now we're going to put on some length of hose. So to make it easier, I just got a couple feet. Random scraps from O'Reilly's. However, I don't have the right size hose clamps. So that is a problem. So it's 1/4 inch for the return line and 3/8 for the feed. It's probably longer than a couple feet, but okay. It should be plenty long enough. Now I need to go keep looking for some more hose clamps. Hey, so now get that in. I think we get some hose clamps in. We are ready for, should probably do a little notch out of that as well. Okay, let's cut that out and then look for the correct hose clamps so we can get that clamped on there and start putting this thing in for good. Okay, I found one for my 3/8 hose, but I don't have one for the 1/4 inch return. So we're going to have to make a run somewhere. We'll leave that right there. So okay. Earn it. Okay, I actually found another one in that kit that I had, so I think they're good. I know it's a pain in the butt to change those once it's in the car, but I think that's good. So I'm gonna go put these rubber straps on the bottom of the straps that go underneath this, and we'll start putting it in the car. All right, on the back of the, I don't know, rear valence, this cross support here. There's a slot that's going this way and then goes down, so it's just like a T almost. So these kind of go in at an angle like so, then rotate and then lock in. And then I'll put the rubber, the sun, down this side, and I'll try to get a better angle while I flip this tank in. Okay, got it set in there. That's a little bit of a chore by yourself. You got to get it close, put some jack stands under there, let it fall on your head 3 times, and then get it kind of close, get the jack in there, and then put it on that super low point there, or the lowest point of the tank, and then just kind of jack it up slowly and kind of get it in place. I got it mostly where I want it. I think it needs to come a little bit towards me. The rubber, it is sticky and tacky, but it kept falling off, so I stopped messing with it until it's all in place. Maybe I'll put a little gasket tack or something on there. I did look it up. Pretty much nobody has that rubber on there, so I don't know how important it is. I got this stuff up top, so I do need to adjust that a little bit. So I think what I'll do is lower it a little bit, make sure this pad's adjusted, just keep playing with it, make sure it's in the perfect spot, and then we'll get these up and get those started. And without cranking it completely down, then we'll try to start putting that, grease up that filler tube and start putting that in and work on the top. But I want to get this mostly where I want it, mostly sit in, get these nuts started on the J-bolts, and just kind of get it pretty darn close, but not 100% snugged up. So that's what we'll keep working on. All right, we got her in. There's a little gap in between the straps here, so I'll put the rubber in after and just cut it to size down along the bottom. I also touched up the paint here on the inside, so there's no exposed metal there. And once I get it all done, I will probably tape it up there and then hit it with the undercoat on the bottom just to make sure that I got every little bit. So now I'm gonna struggle with putting the seal onto this and then trying to grease up WD-40. I don't know, I've read a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm gonna struggle with that for a little bit, and then I'll come back and tell you how I did it. Done. There's not a SIM card big enough that could have handled all of the tank in and out and everything. This is in, fuel cap is installed. I put the car back on the ground. Fuel tank is in. Did not get the rubber straps in. Those were a pain in the butt. But it is in. Fuel lines are hanging down right there. And I just need to basically clean up, wipe it down. But it does, I don't know, it's kind of dark, but you can see it go into the tank. So here is the trick. Drop the tank down, put it on the ground, take that, put some grease around the seal into the tank, take the heat gun, heat it up, then put that into the tank while it's on the ground and let it cool down for a little bit. Then pull it out, so then it's formed. Put the tank underneath the car, hold it, call your dad, grease the grommet back up, put the heat gun back up, and then push that into the tank before the tank's even close to into the car. And then bolt the tank up and then pull that back out of the tank and connect it to the actual car. But it's there. It is on. I think that's probably one of the coolest parts of the Charger. I think everybody agrees. And the vent line, which I put back here, and I didn't have a hole in the floor, so I just ran a rubber hose right through. I drilled another hole in the bottom of this grommet because originally it vents into the frame rail. I didn't have a hole in the trunk floor for that. I didn't want to make a hole in the trunk floor for that, so I decided to just cut the the vent tube up a little bit and clip on a little bit of 1/4 inch line and then drill a hole in the back side of this so you can't see it. So when you're looking in the car, you can't see that vent line.
less chance of it to get smashed, and I think it just looks a little cleaner, and it won't vent fuel into the frame rail. It'll just vent it onto the ground. So I think that is done. Looks good. I think we are looking solid.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hot Dog's Garage. That one felt good. I mean, fuel fill tube, fuel cap, fuel tank, that's all done. That leaves, on this list, wiring harness, brakes, and the rear window, which I'm going to keep putting off. Also with the wiring harness. Also going to probably keep putting the brakes off for a little bit too. So, come back next week where I'll think of something else to do besides anything that's on the list. Maybe we'll start with making a new list. Nope, we're going to start with a hot dog. Whoop, don't drop it. All right, thanks for watching.